The results are in. The auto market here in the United States for the month of August was just unreal. We had record-breaking months all time for Honda, Subaru, Hyundai, Kia, and Mazda. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kirk. If you're new here, I talk about auto industry news. I just got back from an Acura/Honda trip. More information will be coming in the next few days about their EV hub in Ohio. So I can't wait to share that with you, as well as the HRC Integra Type S concept. Well, that's a mouthful, but that vehicle is one of the more exciting things from Acura in a long time. Also this week, I have Corolla Hybrid LE base review. I have GV70 fully electric review, as well as Infiniti QX80 redesign review. So stay tuned for all that. I got to cram that in the next few days. So I got a lot of work ahead. My work's cut out for me, and I'm squeezing this one in here because this gets me very, very fired up to see what's going on in the industry. And if you're excited for today's news, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Look at this. Auto sales are rising and average transaction prices are falling. What does that mean? Well, inventory is better than it has been in the last 3 to 4 years. Prices are coming down because the consumer cannot consume infinite amount of price tag for cars, right? We'll talk about how much it's fallen off the peak. I think it was a peak in 2022, 2023. We're down a few $1,000s from peak pricing. And it still has a ways to go, in my opinion, for the auto market to be healthy. Toyota snapped a 2-month losing streak, you could say, of declines, but their crossover demand, their hybrid demand has not only helped them and luxury company Lexus under the Toyota umbrella, but it's also helped Hyundai, Kia. It's helped Honda quite impressively as well. Deliveries rose 13% to nearly 800,000 vehicles among the 7 automakers that report monthly U.S. sales results. The ones not reporting monthly would be General Motors. I don't see BMW. I don't see Mercedes-Benz. Well, Mercedes-Benz doesn't even report anything anymore, which I'm not going to get into that right now, why that is. But we also don't have Nissan. We don't have Stellantis in here, and that's just to name a few. Ford's hybrids are making the money just like everyone else's hybrids if they have them. September 5th, they said that the U.S. sales rose 13% from August in 2023, the largest gain in more than a year. Ford sold 50% more hybrids and 29% more electric vehicles. Again, keep in mind, they're electric vehicles for Ford anyways. It bleeds money from the company. They're losing, last time I heard, around $50,000 per F-150 Lightning they sell, per Mach-E that they sell. Internal combustion volume improved about 10%. Ford's pickups were up 18%, but if the Maverick and Ranger included in there, you know, that would make a lot of sense to me because large pickup trucks seem to be not doing so hot with high interest rates. The Ranger, there you go, Ranger tripled, Maverick up 24%, F-Series up 12%. Okay, that is a surprise for me. We've seen Ram down lately and maybe even Silverado. Explorer sales roughly doubled. Deliveries for Lincoln rose 49% on the backs of the Nautilus and Aviator. Volvo, I'm not going to mention. They were down just a little bit. We're going to get right into the exciting stuff. Honda, 18 straight months and on the back of a record August for light truck volume and record deliveries of electrified models, including hybrids. We saw sales rise 28% at Honda division. We've seen slippage for 8 straight months at Acura. There's a lot of reasons for that. Production line consolidation is one of the biggest reasons. But Toyota, let's get into Toyota. Now, Toyota doesn't post official numbers like in a press release unless it's quarterly. So we got to wait till the end of this month. That would be at the end of September. It's going to be end of Q3. So we'll have more concrete numbers to really digest at the end of this month as we go into the fourth quarter in October. But Toyota sales rose 2% last month. Toyota down over 1%, Lexus up 25%. Lexus is carrying Toyota here in the United States right now. If the Grand Highlander and the Lexus TX were on sale, that's an extra over 100,000 vehicles, I would say. That would instantly put Toyota into the black in terms of sales versus last year. But they're not there right now due to production stoppages in the Grand Highlander, the TX, and the Prius. The Prius, I think, is out of the weeds right now. And other core Toyota models, Corolla, RAV4, Highlander, 4Runner, Tacoma also posted lower sales compared to a year prior. So here is the main scoreboard, and then we'll start going into Hyundai, Kia, Mazda, Subaru a little bit more. I already talked about Ford. They're gaining momentum, up 12% on the month, up only 3.5% on the year. Lincoln is surging ahead. Still a shadow of their former self when, they're selling like probably 10,000 Lincoln Town cars, every single month, just that vehicle alone. But times have changed, right? Acura just hampering the company, hampering Honda's otherwise glowing numbers. Acura is still down 11% on the year. We'll dive more into Honda Acura in a little bit, but Honda themselves are just out on an absolute tear. Genesis had a really good month. They had a few negative months just prior to this, so it looks like they're catching their momentum once again. But overall, up 3% on the year. Hyundai up 22% on the month. That is great to see. Kia only up 4%. Kia is still down on the year. And you could say a part of that is maybe the lack of the Rio. The Rio maybe was, without that in the lineup, they just, they focused to more profitable, more expensive vehicles. Also, the K4 is not in the lineup right now to replace the Rio, the Forte situation. And I think that could help Kia sales absolutely. Now, Mazda is still the standout here. They are spending a lot of money on incentives. They are spending a lot of money on advertising, but it's not in vain because we are seeing massive sales growth here for Mazda in North America. And they're on record to potentially have the best year ever in the United States of all time. That is quite impressive. They're up 16% on the year, but they are gaining momentum. Subaru up 12% on the month. Subaru is very, very steady. They keep on growing, some models more than others. But again, Lexus doing well. Toyota just kind of staying afloat with certain models on stop sale. Let's get into Honda. Honda sold roughly 140,000 units in August, up 25% compared to last year. I will be driving the Prologue EV next week, so stay tuned for my impressions there. Let me know what you want to see from the Prologue. But the Prologue just recorded its best sales a month since launch. 51% of the CRV sales are hybrid. First month of the Civic Hybrid on sale. They sold 2,300, so there's only 2,300, or there's more than that, but very few Civic Hybrids are out. I will be driving the Civic Hybrid soon. Actually, next week, I'm going to Nashville to drive the Civic Hybrid, so stay tuned for that, as well as the new Civic Si. So let's get into the individual models here from Honda. Accord, sharing assembly line in Ohio with the TLX, with the Integra. So all the volume of those three vehicles is significantly down on the year. All right, but it looks like the Accord might be leveling out. It's down, well, it was down last month about 20% of the year. Now it's only down about 18% on the year as we've seen some of the bleeding stopping for the Accord as it's down. And we're going to focus on month-over-month percent change, so total volume, not daily selling rate change. All right, so month-over-month, Accord down 6%. Civic, here's the thing, the Civic, especially now you have the Civic Hybrid, the Civic has gotten big enough where people really don't need an Accord. It's more fun to drive the Accord. It's cheaper than the Accord. It looks better than the Accord. The Civic is one of the best buys out on the market right now, and now you have your option of hybrid. So I can't recommend the Accord over the Civic, and I can't recommend it over the Camry. You guys, if you know the channel, the Accord is still a good car. I should say specifically the Accord Hybrid is still a good car. Maybe you can get a good deal on it. But if all things are equal, prices equal against a Camry, I would be picking the Camry. And the Camry just offers a better value as well. More efficient, more power, almost as refined, I would say, as the Accord Hybrid now. And it looks a lot better. Anyways, I hate to beat a dead horse, but it has to be said. All right, CRV, fantastic vehicle. Love the hybrid on it. CRV up 24% on the month. CRV is slaying it. HRV up 38% on the month. HRV up 40% on the year. HRV also slaying it. Honda bring a hybrid to the HRV as soon as possible, because that would just it's just print money. It's going to print money for them. It already is, but it would take it to the next level. Honda Odyssey just got a refresh for 2025. We'll be having one as a long-term loaner, so stay tuned for the family impressions on the Honda Odyssey refresh for 2025. Would love to have a hybrid Honda Odyssey. Honda knows that. Again, I don't need to beat a dead horse. Passport is actually up on the month. I mean, it's had a terrible year. Passport is about ready to get replaced by the new generation. I don't expect big sales numbers from it. Pilot up 22% on the year, up 40% on the month. Honda is just on an absolute tear. They seem to have no issues with production right now. I mean, even the Ridgeline. Reviewed it recently. It's a good truck. It is kind of expensive. Wish there was a hybrid on it. But up 28% on the month, down 20% on the year. So Honda is picking up a ton of momentum as we head into the strongest portion of the year, Q4. The big winter holiday selling season. Honda is picking up that momentum. What about Acura, performance division of Honda? No, Acura, it's tough. It's tough for me to see this. Integra down 20% on the year. Again, sharing assembly line with the Accord. Integra down 30% on the month. TLX down 53% on the month. It's barely selling anything, only 576 units. It's down about 56% on the year. I just made a video recently that the 2025 model year might be the last model year for the TLX. It's just the way the market is right now. All right. MDX down 17% on the year. It just got a refresh. The refresh is fine. All right. The MDX Type S is a lot better than the normal MDX. If you guys saw my recent impressions out in California, the normal MDX is fine. It's just not very luxurious. It's very practical and it looks great, but the Type S starts ticking almost all the boxes. I just wish the Type S had an extra 50 to 100 horsepower, but the RDX up on the month. The RDX is a standout for Acura this year. It is long in the tooth. It's never got a Type S, which customers have been asking for, but the RDX is still a very, very impressive vehicle. And I just realized that you guys might not be able to see all the nameplates, so I apologize for that. So move on to Subaru. Subaru August sales up 12%. Crosstrek breaks an all-time monthly sales record. 25 months. We're over 2 years and a month now of year-over-year sales growth for Subaru. Best ever August for Solterra. If you can lease one for around $300 a month, great vehicle. Very smooth, tons of torque, all-wheel drive standard. Range is not good on it. But anyways, let's get into the sales numbers. Ascent, I feel like the Ascent is going to get replaced with that 3-row EV or plug-in hybrid coming out of Toyota's plant in Kentucky. That's just what my gut's telling me. The Highlander could be replaced by that as well. So this vehicle, it's never been anywhere close to the top of the segment. So unless you get a screaming deal or lease deal on the Ascent, it's hard for me to recommend. BRZ down a lot on the year, but having a decent month. But it's a niche sports car, not worth really talking about in terms of sales volume. Crosstrek printing money, up 46% on the month. They sold 20,000 Crosstreks, best month ever. Crosstrek is going to outpace more than likely the Forester as we end out the year, based off of this sales volume, because the Forester is heading in the wrong direction, minus 12% on the month. So maybe Subaru is seeing that, hey, customers' spending power isn't as strong as where it needs to be for high levels of Forester and high levels of Outback. So maybe they're tailoring that production for Crosstrek. It's hard to say for sure. Legacy, this is its last year. Rest in peace. Impreza, it had a good month, but it's having a terrible year. So Ascent, BRZ, Impreza, Legacy, WRX, all having terrible years. And I wouldn't be surprised if, we know the Legacy's gone, but I wouldn't be surprised if the WRX gets discontinued in the next few years. The BRZ wouldn't be surprised in the next few years. So Subaru is on track to be a crossover / wagon off-roady company. Only Subaru would benefit massively if they had a Baja or a Brat pickup truck in their lineup. because small pickup trucks are all the rage nowadays. Look how successful Ford is with their Maverick. All right. Hyundai, they have a small pickup truck too in the Santa Cruz. I drove one, the new refresh out in California. I drove it off-road. Stay tuned for my driving impressions. The embargo is ending fairly soon on that, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, best over total in retail August sales for Hyundai. Total sales increase of 22%. Retail climbs 28%. Ioniq 5 just got a refresh as well. Watch my coverage on that refresh where we saw the introduction of the XRT model. Santa Fe hybrid is fantastic. Watch my driving impressions of it when I was out in California, as well as the new Tucson hybrid refresh. So lots of Hyundai's just always churning out new, fresh, exciting products, and their sales volume shows. Okay, check this out. Sales records for the month of August: Ioniq 5, Santa Fe hybrid, Tucson plug-in hybrid, Tucson hybrid up 97%, Santa Fe hybrid up 120%. Hyundai knows hybrids. That's what's hot right now. That's what's making a lot of money for these companies. It doesn't disrupt your daily life. You don't have to worry about charging. You just go to the gas station like a normal car, except you get better NVH, you get a more luxurious experience, and you get 40% better fuel economy. What's not to like about most modern hybrids right now? Elantra up 28% of the month. Great to see. People need cheap cars. Ioniq 5 on a tear. Ioniq 6 going in the wrong direction. I like the Ioniq 6. It's just not a very good value in my opinion compared to the Ioniq 5, unless you get a crazy lease deal on the Ioniq 6. It's just a little cramped for me. If I was smaller, maybe it's not a big deal. But the range on the Ioniq 6 is very impressive. Kona, redesigned Kona, doing great for the company, having a positive year, up 20%, up 6% on the month. Palisade up 84% on the month as we get ready for a redesign on the Palisade. The Palisade just absolutely is a mint for, as well as a Telluride. They're printing money for the Koreans. Santa Cruz pickup truck sales are down. Hybrid still nowhere to be seen. And if there's a hybrid on the Santa Cruz, I just don't get it. I don't get it, Hyundai. They do so many things right with bringing the right product, a variety of powertrains. With the Santa Cruz, it just doesn't make sense. Santa Fe hybrid is the only way I can recommend it. The turbo is just not as responsive. It's slightly faster than the hybrid, but the hybrid gets way better fuel economy and better NVH and a better experience. And it's still fun to drive too. Sonata, who said sedans are dead, right? Up 75% on the month. Tucson, like we said, is heading in the right direction. It's minus 4% on the year, but up 28% on the month. Venue, people need cheap cars. Still hardly any Venue volume. Look at the Elantra selling 14,000 units. Venue, only about 2,500 units. We need more Venues out on the market. All right, we're going to finish with Mazda and Kia here. So let's get into Kia. Also, another record-breaking August sales, 4% over the same period last year. Kia sales of plug-in hybrids and EV models gained 43 and 27% year over year. All right, EV9. Well, we have nothing to compare it to, but it sold 13,000 units so far this year. EV6 up on the year, but going in the wrong direction. Kia Rio, rest in peace. They didn't sell a single Rio last month. Kia Forte. It's up about 10,000 units on the year, and it has a lot of momentum. K4 is out. Hey, the K4 is out now. K4 has sold 45 units as the Forte retires. Rest in peace, Forte. But the new K4 is, in theory, I mean, even though the K5 is, well, it's down like 50% on the year, but it's having an okay month. But 50% down on the year, in my opinion, Kia just needs to have this one vehicle. Replace the Rio, replace the Forte, replace the K5, have huge volume on the K4, which will reduce cost on it. And then you have the hatchback as well, which the hatchback K4 is going to be awesome. All right. Just wish there was a manual with it. And I also wish it didn't have the turbo as an option on that hatchback, but time will tell. I don't like the turbo, like a lot of the Hyundai Kia turbo models, because of the huge lag in throttle response and turbo lag. But anyways, Kia Stinger, rest in peace. Kia Soul, people need cheap cars. Still not enough souls out there on the market. I think it's a really good buy around the low $20,000 price range. Kia Niro, down about 3,000 units on the year. People need more hybrids. It's crazy that the Niro isn't selling at the volume that it should be. It should be super high sales volume. People want hybrids. I don't know what's going on there. Seltos, and this is the thing, the Niro and the Seltos occupy the same segment. The Niro can be discontinued and just bring in a Seltos hybrid. Counterpart to this vehicle on the Hyundai and the Kona doesn't have a hybrid either, which is a big head scratcher. Sportage, just crushing it. This is one of their big money makers. It had a great year last year, which I'm sure was the best year ever, and they're burying last year's sales right now. So Sportage, they have. Didn't they have a refresh on the Sportage coming, or they just did? All right, Sorrento selling well for them. It's up on the year. Telluride, print money, print. All does. Huge ticket item, 3-row SUV. It makes a lot of money. The new Carnival hybrids coming out this year, and that is going to give some good competition to Toyota's hybrid, and just give families more hybrid sliding door family haulers, which I'm all for. Honda again, where's the Odyssey hybrid, and the Pacifica plug-in hybrid's okay, but it's very expensive and it's not very refined. I'd rather take the Carnival hybrid here every day of the week. And Carnival hybrids probably aren't going to have the same sort of demand as the Toyota Sienna hybrid. And yet the Carnival is a much more roomy, more practical vehicle than the Sienna. So I haven't reviewed one yet, so I can't talk too much about it. But there you have it. And lastly, Mazda. I mean, let's just finish with a bang here. Total August sales of 41,000 units, an increase of 37% compared to last August. Year-to-date sales at 283,000 now. Let's see what's doing great. Well, hey, the hatchback is back selling well for the Mazda 3. The sedan is back selling good volume as well. So overall, the Mazda 3 having a decent year, up 35% on the month, up 21% on the year. Miata, we got the refresh ND3, and we're just now seeing some sort of volume return on it. Again, it's a very niche car. It's one of my favorite cars of all time, as many of you know. MX-5 Miata. Long live this vehicle, but sales just aren't doing great on it this year, but it could be due to production volume being held back for whatever reason. CX-3, rest in peace. CX-30 having its best year ever, up 16% on the month, up 28% on the year. CX-5 down on the month, down on the year. This is traditionally by far and away their best-selling vehicle, but Mazda doesn't need to make so many of them because the CX-50 volume is able to make up for any lack of CX-5 volume. So CX-50 is up 80% on the year, up 221% on the month. CX-50 is, yes, it's made in Alabama. The suspension isn't as good as the CX-5. I like the CX-5 better personally, but the CX-50 will be getting a hybrid later this year, and that might notch it over the CX-5 in my opinion, for desirability with Toyota's hybrid system. CX-70's selling okay. I just reviewed it. It's fine. It's the same thing as the CX-90 with 2 rows. All right, CX-90 selling well. Up sold 34,000 units so far this year. The month of August was good, 6,000 units sold, and Mazda is just on track to shatter any sort of previous record that they had in the United States. I can't wait to see you guys next month when we break down sales once again as Q3 wraps up, and it'll give us a good idea of where the industry is heading because incentives are skyrocketing. They're up 60% from last August for $3,000 per vehicle on average. Some a lot more, obviously, and some a lot less as well. But the average 3,000, I mean, obviously your bigger ticket items like pickup trucks, large SUVs could see a higher incentive rate than this. And conversely, cheaper cars, let's say like a Corolla hybrid that has high desirability, might not see the same sort of discount as $3,000. But I mean, looking at inventory from last year, we're nearly double the inventory compared to August of 2023. No surprise, Honda, Lexus, Toyota, Subaru have the leanest supply of any other manufacturers. Ram, Dodge, Jeep, Lincoln, Volvo. I would throw Nissan in there, but I don't have the exact data. But those companies have the highest day supply of new cars. Toyota's supply is only 27 days. And for their sedans, it's only a 21-day supply for like Corollas, for example, for the new Camry. Here are the transaction prices. They're hovering around $44,000, down 4% from last August, and well below the record of $47,000 plus dollars in December of 2022. So the market is cooling. Inventory is rising. Power is going back to the consumer slowly by slowly. And there's deals to be had out there finally. And the longer you can wait, the better deal you're going to get. I'll just say that because it's heading in that direction. A few years ago, it was the opposite. Prices kept creeping. Manufacturers pulled back any sort of incentives. Now is a good time to buy, but later is going to be better and better as we finish not only the year, but as we go into early next year. We're going to have amazing incentives on vehicles. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.